All right, for this explainer, we're going to dive into a pretty radical idea about language, and believe it or not, it all kicks off with one super common word. Yeah, that's the word part. You know, a part of a machine, you play a part in a show. It seems so simple, right? But what if I told you there's more to this little word than meets the eye? Because see, this very ordinary word, it's actually part of something, well, something pretty extraordinary. It's got a secret, and that secret points to a whole new way of thinking about language itself. So, what's the big secret? Well, it's this. Part isn't just floating around in the dictionary like any other word. Nope. It's a member of a very exclusive club. You could even call it a secret list. And here it is. Turns out the word part is on something called the Basic English 850 list. Okay, so what in the world is that? 850. That number, that's the key to this whole thing. I mean, think about it. What could you possibly do with a list of just 850 words? Is it like a list of the most common words, the most important? Let's dig in and find out. So, that 850-word list, it's the foundation for a whole system called Basic English. And you gotta understand, this isn't just some random collection of words thrown together. Oh no, it is a completely designed, thought-out system for communication. Okay, so what is Basic English? Well, at its core, it's a controlled version of the English language. It's been intentionally stripped down to just those 850 core words we talked about. And the goal? It was super ambitious. To create a tool that would make international communication simple and crystal clear. You know, getting rid of all the confusing bits. And the real genius here, it's not just about having fewer words. It's about choosing the right words and then squeezing every last drop of meaning out of them. The grammar is way simpler, which forces every single word on that list to do some serious heavy lifting, kind of like it's working overtime to cover as much ground as possible. Here's a good way to think about it. Imagine a Lego set, but with only 850 unique kinds of bricks. Now, that might sound super limited at first, right? But with just those core building blocks, you could construct almost any idea you can think of. You just have to be a little creative and really clear about it. Okay, so let's circle all the way back to where we started. Back to our little word, part. How does this one word show us just how powerful Basic English can be? And this is the whole key. See, part was chosen for that special 850 list precisely because it's so incredibly versatile. As a noun, it's a piece of something, right? Part of the page was gone. Simple. But as a verb, it means to separate. My wife and I parted. Whoa. That's one word covering two totally fundamental ideas. And that is exactly how Basic English gets the absolute most bang for its buck from such a small vocabulary. So this is a really clever language experiment. But so what? Why does any of this actually matter in the real world? What's the point of this kind of radical simplicity? Well, it turns out the real-world benefits are actually huge. First off, for anyone trying to learn English, this is way less scary, isn't it? It's a much more accessible starting point. And then you think about things like international business or diplomacy. A system like this could literally prevent huge, costly misunderstandings because everyone's working from the same clear, simple playbook. At the end of the day, it's this powerful reminder that great communication isn't about using a ton of fancy words. It's about using the right words and using them really, really well. And that really leaves us with one last big idea to chew on. You know, we live in a world that's just full of complicated language and endless jargon. And Basic English just comes along and asks this really bold question. What if we've just made everything way too complicated? What if, when it comes to really connecting with people, to sharing the ideas that matter most, 850 well-chosen words are all we ever needed?